Hi, I'm Sandra Younger, and for this next tutorial, I will be showing you how to do the flip knot. Now, the first question that a lot of people ask is, what cord do I use? For these different examples, I used a bunch of different kinds of cord, and I'll explain. The only cord I found that didn't work so well was leather. So on this one, I used Eslon 18, and it has like I mean, when you have it in your hand, it looks kind of zigzaggy, but once you put it on, it has the gravity kind of pulls on it, and it just has this real like flippy look to it. And on this particular one, what I did was I knotted, but I knotted very, very close, as tight as I possibly could, just to get kind of that, knotted, super tight look. And depending on the shape of the bead, you can get different looks. Like this one, I used like a nugget, and you could tell that it just has this really interesting dangly look. And this cord was a 1 millimeter cotton cord. And this one's interesting. On this one, I used a Griffin number 3 with tiny pearls, and it's got a very, very light, bouncy feel to it. And one thing you can do with something like this is you can wrap it and then make it into like a little dangly type thing and make earrings out of them. See that? That's really cute. And some of the other looks that you can get, like this one I used, these are bone beads with large holes, and it just has really pretty, really nice, interesting look. And on this one, what I did was I doubled the cord. I used a leadered needle, and I basically doubled the cord going through, and it just gives it just a different, really cool, unique look. And I find that the one thing that dictates how it looks is the number one, the spacing, and the shape of the beads that you use. And the neat thing about this is that you can incorporate these pieces into other like bracelets or necklaces. Like this one's really long, so what I would do with something like this is I would just basically, oops, let me untangle this. Whoa, hang on. Let's get these out of the way. You could just like wrap them, and then just put like maybe a moose knot on this side and moose knot on that side, and then turn it into a bracelet and have like a macrame slide knot. So all these that I've made so far they're really not finished pieces yet. Towards the end of the video, I'll show you the a 3-tiered necklace that I made with just a random soup bead mix. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is your pin and clip setup. I usually have a clip at number 7 and a peg at number 13, and the second hole after the I guess 12 and a half. And for this tutorial, the cord that I'm using is the wax cord 2 in chestnut in the 0.65. And the beads that I'm using is just a random mix of, I guess they're fire polished beads. It was just like a bead soup mix, and I thought it would look nice. So what you do is you grab a few beads, and you need about maybe 18 to 20 inches of cord, because you're going to be knotting out here, and then you come back, and then you tighten your knot here. That's like it's a little bit awkward, but so you clip here, and let me just make this a little bit shorter. Okay. So what you do is you bring a bead down, you flip it under like that, and then you just grab your bead, and then you come over to your peg, and you slide it over, and you tighten, and then you pull this side to snug it down. In this peg, what it does, I'll do the next one. Just flip it under, grab your bead, and bring it over. See, this peg helps keep this cord out of the way so that way you could keep track of what you're doing. Because there have been a couple of times where things just kind of got messy. So this just kind of keeps it nice and clean. So you just scoot it over and then tighten. And then you pull this cord to snug it down. So let's do the next one. Flip it under. Grab your bead and bring it to the peg and slide it. And then tighten. So now I feel like this is getting a little too short to work with. So see, I'm just gonna like get some more cord, just like maybe 4 or 5 inches. So that way I could keep knotting and have like a comfortable working thread. So I flip under, grab the bead, and then come over here and tighten. Another option for tightening this is coming back this way and just pulling towards you like this. And then another thing I like to do is I'd like to take the next bead and just kind of like pull just to make sure that that knot is really nice and snug. So let's do another one. So you flip under, grab your bead and bring it over and pull the knot. So see how that knot kind of goes back and forth? You just want to, for this example, I'm doing about like a I think it's probably a little less than half an inch. So then you come back and pull, and then take this bead and tighten. It starts to look like really, really interesting. And if you want, your beads closer, of course, you just, drag your knot over closer. So let's do another one. Under, grab, and tighten. See, now I need more cord, and I need some more beads, so you just grab a handful of beads and just get some more cord. Okay, so you flip under, grab your bead, and then bring it over and tighten. And that is how you do this. I mean, the only thing that changes is, your spacing. So you could just basically eyeball it. That's what I do. There's no magic. Um, and if you didn't understand, I'm going to have this playing in the next section. It's just going to be like a repeat, and it'll be in slow motion. So, and this next section of the video, I'll show you a finished piece, and I'll show you how I finished it. All right, thank you. This is the finished piece that I did earlier. This one's a 3-tiered, and what I did was I finished it with a with a backward macrame here and a clasp and chain, and I'll show you how to do that. And what I do is I always wire wrap a bead at the end of the chain. So let's put that one aside. And here's the one I was working on. The final length ended up being 29 inches. And what I do is I fold it in half. And these the 2 loose ends, I just bring them together like this. And I just tie an overhand knot. Just tie that. And you could use your peg just to kind of tighten it. So, and on this side, what I did was I put it on my neck, and I just kind of looked for that spacing that seemed about right. So it was about right here. So I'm going to attach another cord. It's real simple. You just string this through like that. See that? You just hold that, and then you do make an overhand knot. Oops. So you just use your peg to tighten it. So slip it over and tighten. So what you end up with is something that looks like this. So what I do next is I take my clasp. Let's see. Excuse the squeaking. Okay, so I take the cords and I feed them through the clasp like that. And I think I'm going to need a scrap of thread. So I have a lot of that around here. So what I do is I take a scrap of string, and I'm going to use it to hold my clasp. So I'm going to clip this in like this. And you want this to be about an inch or so. So what I do is I clip this like that. You have that space in there, and then what you do is you basically you're going to backward macrame. So you have your top. This goes on the top, and then you bring it through. I mean, I covered the macrame quite a bit, so. And then you just do your bottom, and over the top. You just want to make sure and do it nice and tight. It's really important. So do your top knot. I mean, if you want to get fancy, you could make this longer and then have beads on the outside. That always looks neat. That's a special touch. And also, if you want to make it adjustable, instead of putting a clasp and a chain, you could put a ring on this end, a ring on the other end, and then make a macrame slide knot with that. Okay, so I'm going to take my thread zapper, and you always want to, I know I've mentioned this in all my other videos, but you always want to leave some thread because you need to be able to melt that into a little tab like that. So we're going to do this side. Tap it down, and so there you have that. And now you do the same thing to the other side. So you take your chain, I think usually my adjusted chains are about 1.5 inches. Okay, so let's get this one on there. We want about, well, it's just, if you're concerned about scratching your chain, you could just put a piece of thread through here and use that. Whoops, come back to, okay, wow. Okay, let's clip that in. All right. So if you want to make sure it's about the same distance, you can take your other end and just hold it and just like pull and then right there. So now we're going to just basically do the same thing where we backward macrame. So there's your top, bottom, top, and bottom. One thing I like about this technique, it just, you just by wrapping, it's just so easy. You could do 3-tiered, you could do 4, you could do bracelets. It's just, I really like it. It's a very, I just like the look. It's very dainty. Okay. And nice and tight. And all right. Okay, let's get this. And there you have it. And once you put it on, gravity will pull the beads down and it'll straighten up. If you're working with a thread like Eslon and it's very kinky, I mentioned in the in some of the notes for the tutorial that you can use a clothes steamer. So you just not like steam from a pot because it doesn't get hot enough. I have a clothing steamer, and what I do is I hold the cord straight like this, and I just run it across the steamer, for a couple of minutes until it's nice and hot, and then it straightens out the beads. So there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you.